Bring them on. I prefer a straight fight to all this sneaking around. Welcome back, everybody. Here we are. What is this? Part 3? 2? Something. Issue 95. I think it's 2. First part, we did this. Haven't painted it yet, but we will. We'll probably paint them all together. We have to paint these little pieces here because these will get attached to this here. We'll get all that done. But in this one, what we're going to do is do these. So I've kind of arranged it to look like how they laid it out. So we have two different sides. We have SP4 and the ring for SP4, and then SP11 and the ring for that. And then these, and you can't really see it all that well if you hold it at just the right angle. This one says it was from issue 94, and this one, if I hold it at the right angle and get the light to reflect off of this part here, you can see it says issue 95. But they're identical, so it doesn't really matter. So what we're going to do is we're going to get these out and ready to go, and we're going to put these all together. So in true confusing fashion, what I'm going to do is get all these cut out, cleaned up, and then we'll start getting them attached. So let's get started with that. Okay, so there was definitely some differences. Most notably, these are different. And there was an extra piece on the ones from issue 95. So I'm going to make sure that I keep these separate when I wash them. I'll probably wash them in 2 batches. So that way I can keep them very, very specifically together. So these ones are going to be simple enough. So putting these together, you can see in here there's 3 little tabs, and then there's 3 little indents here. We just have to make sure that we get those lined up across there. And once they're lined up, it pretty much just goes on no problem. So I'm going to go ahead and put these together just to keep them out of the road while I sand these other pieces. we got them all sanded at least. Got all the rough spots knocked off and all that kind of fun stuff. Those who've been watching the whole time, you may recall quite some time ago, I commented about how there's some people that say you shouldn't sand any of these things off because ILM didn't, and because of that, I was like, oh, well, I'm not going to either. That didn't, I don't think that lasted longer than, like, however long it took me to say those words, because I think I've sanded all the seams on everything. So, all right, I'm going to wash these separately. We'll let them dry, and then we'll start getting them put together. See you guys back here in a little bit. So this next part's going to be very straightforward. We're just going to go through it, and I'll talk you through a couple things. So we're just going to get these parts glued on. Let's get ourselves some glue and start gluing. All right, so that's all the parts here that need to get glued up. I'll let them set up just a little bit longer, and then it'll be time to do some priming. Before I prime, though, I've got, each one of these has got something that's got to get glued on in the next episode, or issue, I should say. I went ahead and looked ahead because I saw these tabs and I didn't see the parts, and so I wanted to make sure I knew where those came from. So So basically just mask off where I'm going to glue, and we won't worry about it after that. All I have to do is remember to actually remove the tape after I'm done. All right, that's all the masking that's required on these. We'll let these set up, and then I'll get the primer and base coat on them, and then we can go from there. See you guys after a bit. Welcome back, everyone. Here we are. We've got all the parts back, painted, just to get an idea of the difference. You can see there. So I had to put a couple coats on, which makes sense. And I think that it came out pretty well. Fairly happy with that. These little parts came out pretty well. Should be able to get those attached, I think. Here we go. So these ones I had to put several coats on. And then I eventually ended up picking it up to paint it a little bit more because I couldn't tell because of the lighting and stuff. I thought I was coating it really well. Essentially, like the first couple coats were a very dry coat, but everything came out really well. So real quick, let's get a little bit of glue out here, and let's get these other pieces on, and then that will conclude this episode. Just gonna hold that there for a while. And that will be very likely to break. So I'll probably come back tomorrow after this has been, sitting overnight, and it'll probably fall down. But we got it all done. So that's everything for this this episode. I'm just going to prop this up with something like that to give it more chance to dry. So next time what we'll work on is probably the mounting part of it. So you guys know me. I would like to see if I can do some sort of magnet to hold these in place. I don't know how that will work, but we'll give it a shot. These two pieces here will be simple enough to do the magnets, so I'll just do them same way I did these ones. These, same scenario, have to figure out how I can potentially magnetize those and stick those in place. A lot of that, I'll have to look at how the framework is and stuff to get an idea how that's going to work. But we got all of the assembly parts done for this. We just have to do the mounting. So there we go. We have airlocks completed. Just need to mount them. All right. Thank you all for watching. I very much appreciate it. And may the force be with you always.